Feeling torn between my parents and my boyfriend. I am and have been with my boyfriend for nearly 6 years. We are both still in school, and due to the cost of living, my parents graciously allow us to live in their home free of charge. When my parents bought a new house 2 years ago, they suggested that my boyfriend and I put an apartment in their basement to have some privacy, etc. My boyfriend was a bit apprehensive because my parents and I were exhibiting some codependent traits, but I was not financially or emotionally ready to move out at that point. We decided to take my parents up on their offer and put quite a bit of our own money and time into renovating the basement into an apartment. I figured with our own designated space, my parents would allow us some independence. Fast forward to 2 years living in our basement apartment, and my boyfriend is very unhappy. We pay very minimal expenses, i.e., food, car insurance, but my parents feel as though they should have 24/7 access to me. It started with them coming down frequently without knocking, or opening the door to yell down to us. We put a lock on the door in response to this, and they were unhappy. My parents will call me multiple times a day just to chat or ask me to do something. If I don't answer, they respond passive-aggressively. When something needs to be done, I am asked to do it as default. For reference, I have a sister who does not contribute to the household. My boyfriend and I attended a wedding a few weeks ago, and I fell asleep on our way home. I woke up to 10+ missed calls from my mom. Boyfriend and I went camping a few weeks ago and decided to not tell my parents which campsite we were going to. We were going to a different state and felt like we would be lectured/made fun of if we told them, and when we got back and let them know where we went, they said they felt disrespected and hurt. Every time my boyfriend and I go to the movies, my dad asks for popcorn. We have to say goodbye every time we go out, we are called disrespectful. I know I should be grateful for my living circumstances, but I am mentioning these instances to paint you a picture about the dynamic. If I say something to them about my concerns, they reframe it as it's their way of showing me love, and my boyfriend is jealous of our relationship. I love my parents so much. We have been through so much together, and they are my biggest supporters. I am used to relying on them emotionally, and am still learning that my partner is the one I should be leaning on primarily instead now. I also love my boyfriend and am planning on getting married to him. He desperately wants to move out, but it will be a year until we are ready to move. We are planning on moving away so I can pursue professional school, and I already know my parents will be unhappy and be of the opinion that my boyfriend is trying to separate me from them. How do I navigate this tricky balance between my partner and future, and my parents? Is their behavior normal, or am I justified in thinking it's a little overbearing? I feel guilty even feeling this way and considering moving out, because I know it will devastate my parents. In the midst of this, I'm not even sure what my wants and desires are. Any advice would be appreciated, even if it's to call me out on being a spoiled brat. Comment. This isn't healthy either. It's you, not your BF or anyone that you should depend on. What you just worded is a way to say I'm gonna work on moving my codependency from my parents to my BF. And TBH, if you don't get out from your parents' thumb and into therapy to learn what healthy relationship boundaries look like, your relationships will continue to follow a pattern similar to the codependent relationship you have with your parents. You need a plan to move out starting now. Next story 2. My parents and boyfriend's parents became best friends. And it bothers me a lot. What should I do? I started dating my boyfriend 8 years ago. We met in high school and both worked together. As soon as we met and started dating, my mom had to immediately meet his family. For some background, my mom and I have always had a rough relationship. She constantly manipulated me, guilt-tripped me, used me as her therapist, etc. Her and my dad's relationship is not healthy, and they have an extensive history of issues. So, when my mom said she wanted to meet his parents, I, 15 at the time, said okay. But then she kept wanting to hang out with them all the time. I told her how much this bothered me because I said I want my own relationship with my boyfriend's parents. I don't want this triangle of a relationship with you guys and them and me, it's confusing. She brushed me off. Then, she decided she wanted to book a family vacation with all of us. I told her I was grateful that she wanted to take me on vacation, but I felt that it would be too much pressure having both sets of parents there together, and since me and my boyfriend had just started dating, I didn't want things to go sideways. She again brushed me off, even when my dad's mom also advised her that this wasn't a good idea, and that she needs to stop thinking of her own best interests and start looking out for me. Well, it's 8 years later, and over the years, this relationship between our parents has come to bite us in the ass. There is absolutely no privacy. Our parents have gotten in fights before, which makes it extremely awkward for my boyfriend and I. Most fights BTW are started by my mom, so it makes things extra awkward and embarrassing on my part. We also live in a small town, so people who have had problems with my mom will try to talk to my boyfriend's parents about it. It is so embarrassing and frustrating for me because I feel that my boyfriend's parents have gotten to know me more through my mom's lens than through me. And since my mom and I aren't on the best terms, I know my mom vents to my boyfriend's parents about me all the time. To this day, I've told my mom that I wished she hadn't done this. She doesn't give a shit. At this point, my boyfriend and I make an effort to only hang out with our parents separately. For example, we'll hang out with his parents one night or we'll hang out with my parents one night. And at this point the contact is quite limited with my parents. The frustration continues though because there's a lot of jealousy on my mom's side. For example, she gets upset if we spend more time with his parents than we do with them, so it's very frustrating all around and it's hard to escape the cycle. Next story 3. I am in an open relationship, but my best friend told me that my situation is not how open relationships work. Advice on how I should talk to her? For context, my best friend has been dating her current boyfriend for a few years now. But before they decided to make their relationship official, they were pretty casual, and even before that, they were only flirting now and then and sleeping together time to time, more like friends with benefits. But they hadn't set any terms or boundaries for their relationship at the time, and she got heartbroken when she found out that he was having a similar relationship with other women. For the past 9 months, I, NB26, have been in a similar relationship with someone from another country. So we said, since we cannot meet up in person soon, we would have our adult fun online, sending pics and role-playing, sexting. But the difference here is that we have talked beforehand that we would be allowed to talk to other people and fool around too if we met people we were into. Every party would be made aware of it, of course. So both my partner and I have flirted with other people. Some were a bit more serious, but at the end of the day, for sexual intimacy and more importantly for emotional intimacy, we always turn to each other. As I said, the other people we were talking to were all aware of our situation and they were fine with it. We didn't get involved with people who weren't fine with it after explaining our situation. A few days ago, I ended my involvement with a guy, let's call him X, and it was a sad moment for me. I told my best friend about it and told her that it wasn't that bad because it wasn't like I was completely heartbroken after a long and happy relationship. It had lasted only a few weeks until I was ghosted by X. And I told my best friend that I wasn't that sad because I had my partner, whom I like a lot more than any of my former flings. And she told me that wasn't how open relationships work, and it made me doubt myself and that maybe I was a horrible person who was only gatekeeping my partner. I just explained to her my situation very briefly, but I was a little hurt by her reaction because my partner and I have a very open and healthy communication, and we tell each other everything. So if I had ever hurt their feelings, they'd tell me. It's how we both are. And I didn't want to hurt my best friend back by telling her that she had no right to judge me when my partner and I had set our terms long ago and we always said we liked each other, we love each other, when she and her current boyfriend hadn't set any terms when they were fooling around years ago and she had gotten hurt. I have also took several years of therapy to heal from the wounds my ex opened in my heart and soul, and for many years I felt like I wasn't worthy of love or happiness. But now I'm happy, I feel loved, I feel safe with my partner. I have been there for her when she had gotten heartbroken back then, and I have supported her in every decision she's made for a happier life. I just expected her to be not judgmental but more supporting. Comment. You can call your relationship however you want. You and your partner know about everything and have in specific agreement about how your relationship works. You're both honest and it's consensual. It's none of your friend's business, and her opinion on what an open relationship entails is irrelevant to your relationship. You do have an open relationship simply because you both agreed to pursue other people within boundaries. What I'm confused about is why your friend has taken an issue with this and why you think the friendship is in danger if you explain your position. Her situation is not yours and you should stop comparing them. If she compares them, then you can agree to disagree or stay quiet. However, if she does attack your relationship, then feel free to defend it. As a friend, she should have listened and possibly supported you. She was wrong to make it about the definition your different relationships, but otherwise I'm at a loss why this is even a discussion. The current relationship framework you're in is a little tricky, definitely not for most people, but it sounds like the two of you are managing it well. So long as the communication and transparency is 110%, it should continue to go well, but as soon as one party starts having secrets, well, you know how that goes. I think your friend is just projecting her insecurities onto you. I wouldn't take it too personally. But yeah, I would avoid talking to her about this stuff because she's going to interpret you this way whether you intended it or not. See? If you did things like superior me, you wouldn't be so miserable. Avoid for now any conversation that could come across as if you know better, which you obviously do, lol. That's clearly a trigger point for her at this time.